Welcome back to Crafting a Meaningful Life. I'm your host, Mary Crafts, and man, has my life been crazy. I thought it was kind of full anyway. This is my 255th, can you believe that? 255 episodes times that I've sat in this chair and come to you with what I want to share. Sometimes it's overwhelming to me that there are people who listen every single week and tune in, and it's part of their life, and they can't wait till a new one is posted. I feel a tremendous sense of responsibility with that I have something to say for 30 to 40 minutes of your time. Time is the most valuable commodity we have. Can't make more of it. We can't get it back. We can't make it slow down. Like, have you ever sat and watched a stopwatch or a time watch and just watched the seconds tick away? And one day I was doing that because I was timing one of my grandchildren who was doing a reading exercise. And I just wanted to scream and say, stop! Stop! Quit ticking away! But then most of the days I don't feel like that. I don't feel like time is ticking away and I'm out of control. But I do have a tremendous sense of value in what each day I want to create and in what each day I want to bring into my life. Not what I'm waiting for life to bring to me. I've been there. I've been in those places where I've just sat and waited to see what life was going to bring me. It's not a very fun place. You always feel a little victimized, like life's not bringing me enough, or you feel a little disempowered. It's not what you want to create. But when you step in and get to actually take charge of your life, and you actually get to decide what it is you want to create, the plan seems to come. The first action has to be in what is it do I want to create? What do you want? I've lived a fairly busy life my whole life, but I wanted my life to be more than just a life of doing. I wanted it to be a life of being. We've talked about that on a lot of podcasts. I always thought that the checklist would get me to heaven. Didn't matter what my heart was or if my heart was changed. If I did my checklist, I darn well better get there. But it does matter that my heart's changed. And since my book launch, holy cow, there's been 2 book launches. I've done 2 major keynote addresses. I emceed an entire women's conference. I did some traveling. I've been creating gifts for my launch team, all sorts of things that have filled my life. And what I've found is a lot of people also now are reaching back out to me and sharing things with me that were of value to them in my book. And it's kind of really, I don't know, it brings me to tears when I think about it, that I could make a difference. Me, just me, little old Mary Crafts from her town of 250 people in Iowa. But I could make a difference in big numbers of people's lives. But what I've learned about my book, I've learned what it is, and I've learned what it's not. So this is what my book is not. My book does not have the power to change your life. People have asked me that. Oh, is your book going to change my life? Nope, probably not. It's not that. And I've actually found those words coming out of my mouth. This book has the power to change your life. What kind of BS is that? This book is like paper and a few photos, and it does not, in and of itself, have intrinsic value to change your life. It doesn't. That was never the purpose, I've come to realize. But this is what my book is. My book is filled with inspiration. I've had so many messages back on social media, in my email, and they all kind of say this. I just felt like if you could do that, if you could accomplish this at age 65, or you could do this at 50, I'm only 47. I can do this. I had a woman reach out to me and she said, I'm 70. Is that too late? And I said, did you read the book? No, it's not. But so it does have the power of inspiration. The other thing that the book is it's a book about courage. And I do believe that the book can open the opportunity to you to find your own courage, to step in to what's next for you. Not be waiting just for life to bombard you and for the seconds to tick away on the clock while you're twiddling your thumbs. It can bring a safe place for you to have courage. Sometimes I kind of tackled some big things when it came to courage, but you can just take them one at a time. Decide on your own. What thing have I been afraid of? What's the one thing I would like to show courage and step in and through? Decide on your own. I find it more empowering if you can share that with people. But if you need to, you can keep it to yourself. But in my book, there's a part that I talk about hiding. And you've heard me say this so many times, that the healing cannot stop, or the healing cannot start until the hiding stops. So try not to hide your goals, your desires, your dreams, what you want to have courage about from others, and especially not from you. Let them shine. Let people step in. Be your champion. One of the things I love to talk about in my keynotes is that you can be your own best champion. You don't have to rely upon the likes of the world on social media. You don't have to rely on your parents saying things about you. You don't have to rely upon your family, your spouse saying, good job, babe. No, you can be your own best champion. If you set a goal and something that you want to achieve and you achieve it, I don't care what the world says. You put your arm straight up in the air, put it down on your back, give yourself 3 big pats. I did that. That's amazing. When I'm hiking, sometimes I love to just go hike by myself. And no one's watching me. No one's seeing my courage but me. And I see a peak, a point somewhere, and I think, I wonder if I can get up there. I bet you I can. I bet you I can scramble up this mountain. I have my walking sticks with me today. I bet you I can get up there. And then I do it. But that last 6 feet looks pretty frightening. And I think, okay, well, if I come back now, no one will really know. But I will know. And I will know I had the courage. And so carefully, measuring every footstep, I proceed until I'm at the peak. And I can look down, say, look what I did. That's amazing. I am amazing. Start with little things. I didn't start by climbing peaks. I started with little things, little tiny things like today. I'm just going to not wear makeup for the first half of the day. And I'm going to go into work and show my face and see what kind of reaction I get. And if it's negative or if it's positive, it's okay because it's what I want to do. Now, since then, I've decided that I actually feel better. I love to present myself to the world with makeup. But just to prove that I could show up without it and be okay, I did. Now, that seems like a little non-consequential thing, but it makes a difference. I was just talking to my producer before the show started, and I said, so what about these big headphones? I don't know if I really like them. I think they kind of mess with my hair every time. And when I interview people on the show, I don't see them having these big headphones on. And he said, no, they use the microphone and the speakers from their computer. You have a different setup, which allows you to be crisper and to hear, and for others to hear you, for you to hear the feedback. If there's any echo on your interviews with other people, it's a better system. But if you're more concerned about how you look, then I can get you some little ear pods.
I thought for just a minute about that. Oh, that could be cute. And then I said, no, I like having this podcast look and sound the best it can, regardless of what it does to my hair. I made that choice and I moved on. I had the courage to let go of what I thought of everybody else thought about these headphones on my head and decided what I wanted most and moved through it. Are those little things? Yeah. But they add up to a pattern in your life of having courage and letting go of fear. I want you to ask yourself as you think, now we're approaching the end of the year, what have you learned this year? How's your life been changed? How's it different? Do you have any more knowledge than you had last year? In the last month, have you learned anything new? Think. If the answer is, well, I'm all the time learning at work, I'm processing this and that, and I'm not talking necessarily about that. I'm talking about has your mind been expanded to a new idea? Has something that perked your curiosity, you researched on Google and you wanted to find out more about that? Has someone come home and made a comment about something they heard at work by a famous author and you read more about that author? Or did you start listening to a new genre of music? What is expanding your mind? Our mind is so limitless. The brain is like, we use what they say, 10% of our brain. What about the other 90%? Can I begin to fill that in? Or what am I saving it for? Why not use it now? Why not begin to fill up all those creases and folds where memories are held? So maybe your life doesn't need to be filled with increased knowledge. What new experiences are you experiencing? When was the last time you did something completely new? Something that was out of your comfort zone? Think. Has it been more than a month? A year? A decade? Is it time to start moving? Is it time to start using maybe 12% of our brain? And just keep learning. For me, that is one of the most exciting parts about being 69, is that by the time I turn 70, I'm going to be using more of my brain. More things I'm going to learn. More things are going to be given to me from the universe because I spend time meditating. I'm going to experience more things in life because I'm going to be out there. You know, John and I started to play pickleball this year. I'm getting a little better. And I thought, why not buy a pickleball membership and then go play every week? Commit to that. Commit today to be something better a year from now. And to actually laugh and have fun rather than just like, okay, I got that. I got that over here. We really have this ability within ourselves to grow right up until the end in some small, minute way. Now, you might be thinking about those who have dementia or Alzheimer's and, or maybe that have some physical ailments that keep them growing right up to the end. And this is what I've come to think about that. Perhaps they have reached as far as they're going to get in this life. Perhaps. But we don't really know what's going on inside. But the one thing I do know is that from people being in those kinds of places opens up a world of opportunities for us to grow, to learn, to show compassion, to help, to serve. They allow us to continue to expand. Maybe that's their only purpose, is to open up that platform for us. I had a little cough today. And I was at the jazz game last night, screamed a lot. And I had, so you put those two together and sometimes I'm a little bit like that. But you get along with me. It's okay. At one of my book launch events, my dear friend Julia gave me a book. Now, I have a lot of people give me books. People who are on my podcast send me books. Some I read, some I put in my pile to be read before I close my eyes for the last time. And some I put in a more soon pile. And some I just hold on my lap and think, is this book for me now? And that's what I did with this book that Julia gave me. It's called The Ancient Secrets of a Master Healer. And I was immediately drawn to the title because I do think that there are ancient secrets that have been pretty eternal, that have been on this earth and on other planets, that are secrets of healing that I have yet to unlock. And on the front, it said that the writer was a Western skeptic. And I know a lot of people who are Western skeptics. And he was learning from an Eastern healer to understand the secrets of ancient times. So I thought, well, I'm going to take this with me on the plane to New York. And I'll see if I want to, by the time I get there, I'll know if I'm going to spend more time in it. I didn't watch one movie. I didn't talk to John hardly at all. I just read the book. And when I got back on the plane, I couldn't wait to open it up again and read all the way back. Now, I'm only about halfway through the book, but I'm hooked. I know this is something that's going to expand me for this next year, that I'm going to reach to new levels. What is it for you that's going to bring your mind to a new place, a new learning, a new understanding of how things work? One of the first things the book said was, I didn't come to teach you. I came to love you, and love will teach you. As you can imagine, that struck so home to me. I read it 4 or 5 times over and over. And that's kind of maybe how I feel on this podcast. I didn't come here just to teach you. Heavens knows there's a lot of people you could listen to that have a lot more wisdom than I have. But I know that I've come to love you. I'm just not looking at this camera face, thinking of that camera face that it represents nothing. I look at that and I see you. Sometimes I almost feel like I can feel you. And what I want more than anything is for you to feel and experience my love. My words, my experiences, my stories, my learnings, my intuitions may not teach you. But if you can feel my love, I know it will teach you. It went on to say that I wasn't reading this book by accident, that I was drawn to this book, and that's why I was holding it in my hand. I'm a complete believer in that. I don't believe in such things as good luck. I don't say that to people very often unless I'm just being funny. Or, well, we'll see what happens. I just don't think it happens like that. I think that we cannot look at our bodies and who we are and the intricate systems that procreate and create this beautiful shell that works so perfectly that I don't think about how I'm breathing. I don't think about how my heart is beating. I'm not telling my blood, go down to the end of those fingertips and pick up all of that and bring it all the way back up here. I'm not thinking about that. I'm not even thinking, hi, eyes, stay open, quit closing. My eyes are staying open all by themselves. And I'm not thinking to blink. Now, that kind of a beautiful body did not just happen by accident. I don't think that's how it came about. I think we were all here with a purpose in mind, and that we can make choices that aren't in keeping, for sure, with who we are and what we're here to learn. But when we stay in alignment with who we are and what we're here to learn, there's no question that the things that come into our lives are not by accident. And there's a specific reason. Now, love is one of the most powerful forces inside of you. It's in our whole entire universe. So never underestimate the power of what it can do. this power of love. It can heal, it can enlighten, it can keep safe. One of our biggest desires, needs in this life is the need for acceptance. And oftentimes people deny that. Like, I don't care. I don't care if they like me. I don't care if they accept me. I'm my own person. I'm this way, or forget it, But if you could peel away those layers of the onion, inside we all desire to be close to someone. We all desire to be accepted, to be found worthy. Probably one of the biggest fallacies I've ever come across in my life was one that I was entrenched in for decades. And that is that the value of my self-worth can change. That the value of my self-worth depends on my productivity. That the value of who I am as a soul, as an individual, could be made less by someone or made higher by someone. I'll tell you right now, that is a lie. You are your beautiful self without anything else. You don't have to do anything to change the value of who you are. That's intrinsic in you. You get it. It's your gift. Just claim it. I believed for so long that if I did things more, if I was a doer, like my mom was a doer, I'd make a checklist every day, and the more I checked off, the more value I had. And if I did something without writing it down, I'd write it down just so I could check it off, because I wanted to keep track of how much I was worth. What's a bunch of hooey honky? Really? My self-worth did not change by that doing. As a good friend reminded me on a Facebook post this week, that we are not human doings. We're human beings. And thank you, Chris, for always putting out to the world. But it's such a beautiful concept for all of us. And you may not have believed that deeper healing was possible, but I'm here to tell you that it is. So a lot of people want to keep separate, in a separate sack. It's like the sack they carry on their back. Physical ailments. So they put in there, oh, I do this. I'm guilty of this at times. I have arthritis. Put that in that sack. Carry it on my back. Or I have a learning disability and I read dyslexic. Put that in my sack and I'll carry that on my back. Or I have a sensitive gastrointestinal system and I don't digest lactic acid, whatever crazy thing it might be. And so I'll put it in my sack and I'll put it on my back. And so when people say, well, tell me what's wrong with you, you get down your sack and you open it up and say, look in there. Look at all those physical problems. Look at this. Look at that. It's all inside my sack. And then they go, oh, and then you close it back up and stick it back on your back. There's no separation between our physical, our emotional, our mental, and our spiritual healing. They are all connected. So interconnected. So what if we took out of that sack on our back all those things that we are seeing as our physical ailments and put them right back where they belong in our body, right next to where our heart lives, right next to where our brain lives that keeps track of our mental and our emotional, right next to where our spiritual peace is. What do you think the likelihood of being able to address and heal some of those physical ailments would be if it was surrounded by the entire piece of who we are? I think it can create miracles. And that's what this book really encouraged me to believe. I in the pages after pages I read, the one thing that kept coming through was never give up hope. Never give up hope. And most of you know that I struggle with back pain, L4 and 5. And I get a steroid shot every 3 or 4 months in there. And it's been about 2.5 months now. And I've been telling myself every day, I mean, probably a dozen times a day, when I'm at the gym, when I'm here at the house, when I'm riding in my car, when I'm getting dressed in the morning, I've been straightening my spine because the x-rays of my spine, they don't look so good. I remember when I first had them done, I looked over and I said, wow, whose spine is that? And they said, that's yours. What? That person probably can't even walk. That's you. Oh, But I've been thinking all the time now for the last month that I've been receiving down from the top of my head through my entire body, down my spinal column, this most beautiful white light. And I can truly envision it straightening out my spine and breathing new life into my spine. I'm mentally envisioning it. I'm emotionally feeling it. I'm opening myself up to spiritually receiving it. And my physical body is being healed. Now, I haven't been to the doctor. I haven't had another MRI. But the important piece here is that I am more functional today than I was the day I first got the shot. Because I believe I'm allowing my entire body to heal itself. When I woke up with a cold a couple days ago, the first immediate thought was, oh, John had a cold. He gave me this cold. Okay. And I thought, my body did not have to receive this. I wasn't prepared to strengthen my body against receiving it. But now I'm trying to listen. Hi, body. What do you need to feel better? Mary, I need you to slow down. I need you to rest. I need you to close your eyes. I need you to feel the stress move out of your body. And then I can better heal myself. Okay, I hear you. I like that. In the book, another thing that he always starts with is what I started this whole podcast with today. He asks every one of his patients, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Now, I want you to ask yourself that question right now. What do you want? Is it to be healed physically? Is it to understand how the universe works? Is it to be forgiven by someone? Is it to clearly see your self-worth? Those things are there and available for you. That's what you start with. Like Simon Sinek always started with why. This master healer started with what do you want? And 95% of this planet doesn't even know what it wants. Nope. Not at all. They don't have a clue. They just think, oh, I just got to get through today. I just got to get to the weekend. I just got to get to retirement. I got to get to when the kids are grown. I got to get to this. Oh, then I'll be great. Nope. What do you want right now, today? I can tell you that sometimes it's better to feel physical pain than it is to feel emotional pain. I was reading in this book that he was dealing with a patient who had been cutting herself. Now, for me, that was a concept I didn't really know about until a couple, 3 years ago. And I learned that people sometimes just take knives or razors and just cut themselves. And for me, that just seemed like, what? Why would you purposefully harm yourself? And in the book, Dr. Naram completely explained it. He said, sometimes physical pain feels better than emotional pain. And by cutting, you give yourself something to focus on and to feel that pain rather than to feel the emotional pain, which would be overwhelming to you. And I wondered how many times in my life I had done that. How I induced physical pain on my body by maybe overeating or not exercising, or by doing things for my body that I knew were not healthy, just so to keep me from looking at the emotional pain that was behind it. I thought that was an important piece I wanted to share with you today, just so that you could ponder that question. There's several things that I think we yearn for in this life, acceptance being one of them. But one of the bigger ones is purpose. I think we all want to have purpose. We want to know, why am I here? What is this all about? Okay, what am I supposed to do? Am I just like live out my life and then I die? But we yearn to know our purpose. Absolutely. We yearn for happiness. Even if we rarely experience it, we yearn for it. And we yearn for acceptance. And we always think they're based on performance, and there's nothing to do with that. I think I know my purpose now, and it excites me every single day of my life. My purpose in this life is to expose people to love and oneness, and what that means to be one with another and one with the world, and how that your purpose is so clear when you understand that piece. I'm going to spend the rest of my days doing that. That's exactly what I'm going to do. And one thing I know for sure is that miracles happen every day. And if you don't think that, just change your perspective, and you will see those miracles all around you. So if you don't think miracles happen, just think, for an example, you could be yelling at yourself that you were left the house 5 minutes late. But then you found out that there was a horrible accident on the freeway that you would have been right in the middle of if you had left on time. Yeah, miracles happen every day. We just have to change our perspective. So one of the ways I do this, and this is a little bit crazy, so you have to stay with me. I'm sure you've seen those drawings from Egypt, from ancient India, all of the ancient cultures, where they have painted a dot on their forehead right here. And you've seen the ones where there's a third eye up there. Well, I don't necessarily think of the third eye as being an actual physical eye with its independent eyeball looking around, searching all over the place, looking here, looking there. That's not how I think of it. I do think that there is a place inside of us, and it helps me to focus on where it is, like kind of between my eyes, that there's another spot that could take a different perspective, that could see things differently, that could open up a vision. If my two eyes are only looking straight forward, what if this other eye looked behind me to see what I'd come through? What if this other eye looked inside of me to see the pain that was caused in me? What if this other eye looked into my heart and saw all the love that's in there? How would that change my perspective? It's one of the things I do in my meditation, is I kind of just focus so that I can expand my perspective. Not some woo-woo crazy thing, but I let go of the physical eyes that are seeing and allow this, what I call the heart intuition, to show me its perspective. So instead of asking people every day, how many times do you ask this? Hey, how are you? They was good. If they respond, okay, something's not okay. And sometimes you just don't address it because you're not interested. Don't have time. And sometimes they say, I'm fine. That's another clue. Things aren't always fine. And sometimes I literally do not have a moment to stop and to see the entire story. But I always have a moment to stop and say, I'm going to leave with you a little piece of energy that's going to help you through your day. And if you want to come back to me later, I'm here for you. It's like asking them, where do you hurt? I see you. People want to be seen. We don't always see the connection between mind and our bodies, our hearts, but I tell you that it is real. My book, I have probably on every single page, it screams about accountability. And I believe we are accountable for our actions, our thoughts. And the other day I had an experience with someone who read my book, and they stopped me and they got real close to me and they said, so Mary, are you saying that I'm responsible for my dad sexually abusing me and ruining my whole life with memories I can't get rid of, feelings of hate and anger? I said, oh no, my love. You're not responsible for your dad. You're not responsible for any of his actions. Those were his choices. Those were his pains. I don't see your dad as necessarily a perpetrator. I see him as a victim as well. What pains did he feel that was what he acted out? But you are not responsible for him. No. But what you are responsible for are your actions, your thoughts, your forgiveness, your feelings of where you are today. Are you going to allow that horrible experience of the past to continue to control you today, or are you going to make your own decisions? Are you going to give him the power over your physical and mental body today? You can choose something different. You can step out of Victimville, and you can take the road to love. I know this is possible. Instead of just always reacting to everything, you can actually be in charge of your actions. How many of you find that you're just spend your whole life reacting to what people say to you, reacting with, what you see, what you hear? You're just, whoa. Wouldn't it be so much better to live in this spot where you decide what actions to take and you step into them, not waiting to react, and you do it the next day? Decide in the morning what you're going to do today. Decide how you're going to treat someone. Decide what piece of your body you're going to focus on for healing. You don't have to wait and react. You can choose action over reaction. My whole book focuses on fear. Why? Because it's the biggest obstacle that we overcome in our life. It is absolutely, without a doubt, the biggest obstacle that we have to overcome in our life. And all of us have it. If you don't have it, you're probably cutting yourself somewhere because it's easier to experience physical pain or some other pain rather than look at the pain that your fears are causing. We all have it. And until we deal with our own pain and our own fears, we cannot possibly see the pain and the fears of someone else. Until we have healed ourselves, we can't possibly heal others. I focused on myself for 19 years before I stepped out with my first book. And I took that learning and put it into this book. I want you to experience freedom from fear. I want you to begin journaling. Journal, what fears are you feeling? You're like, I don't really feel fears. Well, let's keep going, keep doing. What are you afraid of? What do you fear? There's nothing on that page yet. Just then write down what you are feeling. Today I was upset. Write down that emotion, upset. What were you upset about? I was upset that I got passed over at work, that my idea wasn't acknowledged. Oh, so you were upset that your fear, or that your idea didn't get acknowledged and someone else's did. Yeah, mine was better than theirs.
And so, what did that say about you? Well, it said that they didn't like my idea. Or maybe not this time. Were you afraid that your idea wasn't good enough? And if this idea wasn't good enough, would you have another idea that was even better? Or were you afraid that maybe you weren't enough? All negative emotions have some basis back down underneath in fear. And if you can begin to journal them and keep track of them, when you felt your palms sweaty, when you felt confused in your mind, when you just felt like collapsing on the sofa, when you felt like eating something, when you wanted to lash out at somebody in anger, all of those have basis in fear. Anger is fear of losing control. Anger is fear of being hurt. Keep digging, keep looking. It's there. I know it is. You have to trust me. I've walked this path, and I'm still walking this path. It's not the end. I don't like some big, guru now that just sits in meditation all day. I still experience this stuff. I experience it every single day. But now the difference is I recognize it. I go, oh, I know you. You're fear, aren't you? You're my old friend that hung around so long. Not today. Today I'm choosing action, not fear. Today I'm not going to make up stories about other people and blame them. I'm going to take actions for myself. And when I do lose my way, this is how I find it back. This is the best way for me. Is I come inside for just a moment. And I wrap my heart up. And I close my eyes. And I allow myself to see me and feel me. And the beauty of who I am. That brings me back to center. Every time I do it, I love holding my heart and my little child. I love how my higher self teaches me and guides me. And then from there, I can walk out again. I see you. I do. And I love you. No matter how you look, no matter what your actions are, no matter how much you may not love yourself, I see this part right here in the heart. And that is love. Until next time, discover more of you. Namaste.
Listen to the full podcast today and subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and more. Crafting a Meaningful Life with Mary Crafts.